Hello and welcome to Top Gear India. It's a lovely cloudy morning over here and I'm in the city of Indore. Well, not exactly in the city of Indore, but more like the outskirts. What exactly am I doing on a cloudy morning in the city of Indore? Well, I've come here to Natrack's facility over here, which is Asia's longest high-speed testing track. It stretches out to about 11.3 kilometers and I'm here along with Skoda India to test some of their cars in a high-speed track under high-speed scenarios to see how they perform at higher speeds, and also a bit excited to see what the new updated Skoda Kodiaq is like. But mainly at the high-speed track, I'll tell you a bit more about the Kodiaq in a separate video, but this one is just going to be about the Skoda cars, the Kushaq, the Slavia, maybe even the Octavia on a high-speed track, and tell you what it's like to drive them at triple-digit speeds, legally. So for starters, we're going to be on the handling track, and today I'll be driving the Slavia. This is powered by the 1.5 litre turbo engine. So it makes about 148 bhp of power and about 250 Nm of torque. And it has really good handling credentials. Now I have a long-term Slavia and my only gripe with the Slavia has been the tires. But today I get to properly test these tires and see just how capable this car is. So without any further ado, let's go ahead and see what the Slavia can do on a test track. Quick lap in the Slavia, and we're currently on the Natrack's handling track to get a gist of just how well these cars perform. So far the tires are doing a great job. I don't hear any screeching. Alright, so I had a lovely little lap in the Slavia, and surprisingly the car handled phenomenally well. The tires didn't give out. These are currently running on the Goodyear tires, so you can either get Goodyear or MRFs. Those are the two vendors, and varies between the two. So one thing that I did notice over here is that I don't know if you can tell, but so a lot of Slavia and Virtus owners have been doing this with their car, where they have integrated, by just tweaking the coding slightly, they've integrated this rev meter over here. So the Chinese models apparently have it as standard, but the Indian models don't get it, and I think you can just unlock it with a bit of tweaking. And I think the newer models are getting this update. I hope they are. Not only that, you can also get a bit of information now in the middle, which makes it quite interesting and easy to use actually. So you have all the important data that you would want, and I really like this screen because now you get everything important that you would actually want to see in one screen itself. So now, once I'm done with the Slavia, I'm going to do a quick lap in the Kushaq, and this is no ordinary Kushaq. This is the Monte Carlo edition, so you can see aesthetically it's a bit chromed down and a bit more blacked out, which I personally think really suits the aesthetic of this car a lot more. Step inside and I'll show you a bit more about the Monte Carlo edition. I see a lot of red on the inside of this car. And just look at the amount of red. There's red on the seats, there's red on the dash. They've taken a bit out of the Virtus and the Tygoon's book over here. I like this little carbon fiber-ish hexagonal pattern they've sort of added. It adds a bit more feel to it. They've done it on the side also over here, and it even has a nice texture to it. So I think it feels good. Now the rest of the Kushaq over here on the inside remains the same. It's just these little red trim bits and the bit of red stitching that you notice around the car, on the armrest, on the seats. You have a little bit of a carbon fiber-ish pattern over here, and you even get red in the back. If I had any complaint, I would have probably said they could have done with red seat belts also. I think that would have just added a bit more to the appeal, because black seat belts, I mean, yeah, okay, they do the job. One could also argue that if they did that, there'd be a lot of red in this car, a bit too much. But I think anyone that's willing to commit to so much red clearly likes red. I mean, there's red on the outside, red on the inside. So yeah, do let us know in the comment section below, what do you think about the Monte Carlo's inside? I actually do like it. I do think that it's a tad bit too red for me, but hey, you know what, it's totally up to you. If you like the red, this is the car for you. Now we're driving the Kushaq, the Monte Carlo edition. So this one is powered by the 1.5 litre engine that puts out about 148 bhp of power and 250 Nm of torque. which, trust me, is more than sufficient on our roads. And on a handling track like this, that's rather tight, nippy, and like a British B road, let me tell you, these power figures are more than sufficient. So despite being an SUV, the Kushaq and the Taygun for me have always been really great handling cars. And you can tell that despite being an SUV, it still has a lot of composure, almost like a little hatchback on stilts. And here again, I do hear the tires protest slightly more than in the Slavia, but then again, it's not something that's really hampering my driving experience. And the beauty of it is that you can always swap the tires if you're not happy with the ones you get with your car. But regardless, it's a road car. It's nice to see a road car with road tires performing so well on a handling track. And again, the Kushaq and the Slavia are front-wheel drive cars, so you cannot expect them to perform like rear-wheel drive cars. But despite that, understeer is well contained for the most part, and it actually can be a lot of fun if you really know what you're doing. Alright, so now we're on the high-speed track where we'll actually put the Slavia through its paces and see how it does at triple-digit speeds and push it to its limit. Last time my editor-in-chief was over here, he managed to clock a time of 209 kilometers per hour, a speed of 209 kilometers per hour in a Honda City. Today, we're hoping that we can break that and do better than what he did and perhaps go more than 209 kilometers per hour. So let's see what we manage. Alright, we're going to launch the Slavia. This again is powered by a 1.5 litre engine, produces about 148 bhp of power and 250 Nm of torque. Let's see just how fast we can go with this car. Doing about 203 so far. Aim is to try to beat 209. Alright, unfortunately we were only about to do 203 kilometers per hour, but perhaps we could break that in the Kodiaq. So we're in the Skoda Kodiaq, which is again a car that's very hard to get your hands on. But we finally seem to have our hands on it, and that too on a high-speed track. Today we're going to put it through its paces and find out just how well it can do. So we slot the car into sport mode. 3, 2, 1. Launch is pretty sluggish, but what do you expect from a 7-seater SUV? That's not its forte. Doing 190 now. Slowly edging towards 200, inch by inch. Alright, 217 is what we managed to do. Alright, so as you saw in the Kodiaq, we managed to do 217 kilometers per hour. Of course, these aren't sports car figures, but what do you expect from a family car that's meant to carry 7 people? But it's good to know that if you ever come here onto a track with 7 people in your car, you could still probably do 217 kilometers per hour. And that's quite commendable. So yeah, that's that. And now we're going to drive the Kodiaq after this off-road. But for that, you're going to have to wait for another video, which will be dropping in 2 more days. So stick around to the Top Gear India YouTube channel.